Thank you so much. So moving on, what is Android platform architecture? How is Android's platform is designed? So it is designed into 5 layers, guys. Okay. Now I need your interaction. So in the first layer, we have system apps and user apps. What are system apps? What are user apps? I'll tell you the definition of system apps. System apps are those apps that come by default with the operating system and they have key capabilities such as um, sending an SMS, making a call, such kind of system capabilities it will have. And next we have user apps. User apps are those apps that are installed via Play Store or any other hosting platform. It is not that you'll always get applications from Google Play Store. Anyway, if you get applications from Google Play Store, they are they are good applications. If you install it from a third-party hosting platform, you cannot be secure. You cannot feel secured because malicious software is always written, right? So with that said, I want some examples for system apps. Let's see how many of you will be able to give the examples for system apps. Good. Anil gave an example. It is camera. Fantastic, Anil. Camera comes by default. So it is considered as system apps. And its key capability is to take a picture. Right. I want more examples, guys, because there are around 15 people in the not 15, 14 people in the group, and only one have responded. Let's see if you just try. No, it's not needed to be correct all the time. You can give an answer, need not be correct. System apps are those apps which are installed by default with the operating system. Along with the operating system, they will also get installed on our devices. Those kind of devices are called system. I mean, those kind of applications are called system apps. Okay. Okay. Anil also have given another example, file manager. Yes, correct. Its capability, its key capability is to let the user explore the memory. All right. Hemant says music app. Okay. Music apps are normally, yeah, with the operating system, you'll also get a music app, which you can use to, uh, right. Hemant is also correct. Yes, Sabu said Play Store. Yes, absolutely. Play Store also comes by default. So it is also considered as system app. Anil says contact. Correct. Contact is also a system app. Fantastic, guys. Thank you so much for responding. So the next question would obviously be, what are the examples of user apps? Can someone come up with examples of user apps? User apps are those applications which are installed via a hosting platform or through an APK that you get. Hammond said albums. Yes, albums are also system apps. System app, correct. We have, instead of album, we are now getting photos app. Yes, WhatsApp is a user app. Correct. We install WhatsApp from Play Store and it is a user app. That is our choice to install it or not. To install WhatsApp or not, it is our choice. Right. More examples. Instagram. Yeah, Haman said Instagram. Fantastic. Some more. Great. PhonePe is also a user app. Great. Anil said it. Good work, guys. Good work. So whatever you told so far are correct. Okay. Now here comes the hero of the picture. Java API framework. This Java API framework lays in the second layer of your system architecture. What is this Java API framework? Let's talk about it in detail. Let us understand what is an API first. Can someone tell me the full form of an API? Let us see how many of you are already aware of it. Question is, what is the full form of an API? Application Programming Interface. Correct, Anil. Why do we need to have an API? Why should we use an API? We're talking about Java API framework in the system architecture or Android platform architecture. We were not talking about API. API stands for Application Programming Interface. That is correct. But why do we use it? What is the use of an API? Okay, let me put it in simple terms. Okay, let us say you were at a restaurant. I will give you two scenarios, and everyone has to choose one scenario among these two. Okay, please don't come up with the third scenario. All right. So you were at a restaurant and there was no one to open the door for you. You opened the door yourself, you went into the restaurant, and nobody was there to help you out to locate an empty seat or an empty table. You searched for an empty table for a while and finally found one. You had your seat and nobody was coming to you for taking the order. You went to the cooking room, ordered your food. Once the food is ready, you brought it to your table and uh, and served it yourself. After having your food, you went directly to the counter and paid the bill. You exited the restaurant. Scenario 1. Scenario 2. As soon as you were at the restaurant, there was someone wishing you and was opening the door for you. You went into the restaurant. There was a person showing you an empty table. You sat on your seat. Then there is a waiter coming with a menu card. He came to you with a menu card, gave you the menu card. You went to the menu card and placed your order. Now, after some time, your order was ready and the waiter brought the food for you, served it, you had the food, and then the server or the waiter brought you the bill. You paid the bill right away at that same moment at the same place. Once you're done, you were wished good luck and you went out of the restaurant. Now tell me, among these two scenarios, which one would you choose? What is your pick? Scenario one, nobody is helping you out. Scenario two, there are many people helping you out around. If you are supposed to choose these two scenarios, which one do you choose? Supreet is smart enough to choose the second one. No other responses, or you did not understand the question itself. How many of you did not understand the question itself? You can raise your hands. Feel free to do that. Okay, Hamad did not understand the question. Okay, Astosh selected scenario 2 because he is smart. Okay. The question is simple. Okay. Let's say you are building a house. Let's say you are building a house. Would you like, would you like uh, to get the ready-made products like cement, iron, which is casted, steel, which is casted, bricks, which are made, and start building your house? Or would you like to build everything like bricks, steel, iron rods, and then cement, everything you want to prepare yourself and then build your house? Which one do you choose? Obviously, the first one, which are already available, you'll make use of them. Correct? Akanksha is smart to choose second option, second scenario. Great. So APIs are the same. There are some built-in functionalities. Okay. So you need not to reinvent the wheel all the time. Understand this, guys. You need not to reinvent the wheel all the time. If you keep on reinventing the wheel all the time, you will be wasting a lot of time, obviously. So there is a standardized API framework available with the SDK. We can make use of these APIs to do certain amount of tasks. For example, you want to create a button. Do you want to create button by defining how the button should look like? What are the properties of the button? Which property should enhance which capability of the button and everything? Or will you simply want to get simply drag and drop a button and then your button is created? Obviously, the second is smart because it is already built in an API framework called Java View API library. There is a library, Java API library, which will help us to create so many UI components on this on the activities that we are creating or on the applications that we are creating. So to reduce the complexity, as Supreet was rightly telling before, to reduce complexity, make develop task a fun ride. API framework is there for you. Native C++ libraries are also there because we can also develop Android applications natively using C++ and C. Android runtime will facilitate the execution of your application on your system. There is a hardware abstraction layer which includes all the driving software for different hardware components you have on the device. Okay, let me ask you another question. If you take your mobile phone in hand, what are the different kinds of hardware you find on them? Let's see how many of you will understand and answer this question. Easy one, by the way. And please don't hesitate to give me a wrong answer. I'm absolutely fine with them. Question. Again, I repeat the question. Okay, Anil already told an answer. Memory card. Yes, it is hardware. Camera. Akanksha said camera. It is hardware. Absolutely. So what else do we have? Screen. Supreet said screen. Screen is also hardware. Fantastic. Speaker is hardware. Great. Microphone is hardware. Fingerprint sensor is also hardware. Correct. All sensors are hardware. Android phone itself is an hardware. Okay. Right. In the Android phone, what are the different hardware components you find? That is the question. All right. No issues. So to run these devices, we need software, right? That software will have it in hardware abstraction layer, and some software will also go into kernel, Linux kernel. In the Linux kernel, we have thread level memory management, um, mm, actual memory, thread management, security layers. All of them will be residing in Linux kernel. In the among all these 5 layers, Java API framework is the hero of the picture because dependent on this, we will build applications, right? Okay. Let us go ahead to install Android Studio, right? So how to install Android Studio? Type this one, install Android Studio, and you would get the official documentation from developer.android.com. So the latest Android Studio version is Electric Eel, which you can download directly. So I'm sharing this link with everyone. Or there is an easy way of going about it. Okay, let's not waste your time. So using this link, you can download the executable file of Android Studio. If you simply hit on download, you will get to accept the terms and conditions. Once you have once you have accepted the terms and conditions, you will get this button highlighted. If you are using Windows, you will get a downloadable version for Windows. If it is for Linux, you will get a different button. If it is for MacBook, you get a different version. So you can first start downloading that. Okay. Based on your system, based on your operating system, you will get the download option. Okay. Use the latest one, Supreet. Always use the latest one because latest ones will always have additional functionalities compared to the previous versions. So the latest version is called Electric Eel. Now download Electric Eel for your Windows as an executable file. Once it is downloaded, what to do? For Windows, it is simple to install. For Linux, it is simple to install. For Mac also, it is simple to install. So this is user guide. No, not the user guide we need. We need installation instructions. Android Studio installation guide. If you type this, you get installation guide of Android Studio. So what is the installation guide for Windows? Set up Android Studio in just a few clicks. First, download the latest version of Android Studio from this link. So which we already have done. Next, how to install it on Windows. So this is how you install it on Windows. After the executable file is downloaded, you double tap on it and then you will go through these windows and finally your Android Studio will be installed. Just like you install VLC Media Player, you can also install Android Studio. Once it is installed, you have to open Android Studio because you're supposed to install SDK components as well. So when you install SDK components, it will eat up around 1.2 GB of your internet. Once it is all installed, you will get a welcome to Android Studio pop-up or window. Very simple it is for Windows. Same for Mac as well. For Mac, you will download Android Studio for Mac. You will move it to applications folder and then your download will start if you double tap on the Android Studio. Simply hit on OK and install the SDK components. Click on finish so that the SDK components will be installed on your system. Hit on finish and then you are good to use Android Studio on Mac. It's even easy on Linux. How is it easy? You just have to download the .deb file or zip file. Just have to extract it. Once the folder is extracted to your desired location, all you need to do is open Android Studio and move to the bin folder. And in the bin folder, you will have studio.sh. You just have to run /studio.sh and that runs Android Studio for you right away. Now you can simply hit on next and then install SDK components on your Linux machine as well. Once the SDK components are installed, you will get Android Studio welcome window or welcome screen. Yeah. From here, we can start creating Android apps easily. So for Chrome OS also, there is a process. You can follow this process if you have Chrome operating system. All right. So I'm also sharing this link in the chat. Everyone, I recommend everyone to install Android Studio for as it is a hands-on training course. The course is mostly dependent on hands-on training. We don't have much theory, right? So please use the latest one. Please download the latest one with the provided link. Please install the latest version of Android Studio from the link provided to you. After the installation process, right? After the installation process, we can create an application easily. Okay. Before we jump in on to creating an application, we shall see the system requirements specified officially. So these are the system requirements we have. For Mac OS, we should use 10.14 Mojave or higher. ARM-based chips are recommended for processors. Second generation Intel Core or newer with support for hypervisor framework is needed. 8 gigs of RAM is suggested. If more is there, it is okay. 8 gigs of available disk space is required, minimum to minimum, and 1280 to 800 minimum screen resolution must be required. Now all the Macs they will definitely pass this one. Not sure about this RAM, but most of them they will be passing that. For Linux, you need any 64-bit Linux distribution that supports GNOME, KDE, UnityDE, GNU-C library. You need to have a nice processor, Intel Core processors with 8 gigs of RAM. 1280 to 800 resolution is needed. For Windows, 64-bit, Windows 8 or 10 or 11. For 11 also, Android Studio is working absolutely fine. I'm using a Windows 11 and my Android Studio is working fine. You need to have at least the second generation Intel Core processors, Core i3, Core i5, Core i7, Core i9. 8 gigs of RAM is needed and minimum screen resolution is 1280 to 800. For Chrome, you can go to chromeos.dev. You'll get the recommendation properly. So also see the system recommendations before you proceed with the installation. Based on your internet speed, the installation may vary. All right. The installation time may vary. Okay. So I think it is better to create projects once we are done with the installation. Before that, let me understand how many of you are already done with the installation. If you are already done with the installation, please raise your hands. Need not to write any message in the chat. Just have to click on this raise hand. If you have already installed Android Studio, please raise your hands. Thank you, Suprit, for responding. Supreet, Ashutosh, Manoj, Ishika, Mulayam, all have installed. Anil, Sai Krishna, Rajesh. All right, great, great work. So many people have installed it. Okay, so please try to install Android Studio without missing it. Okay, without missing it. So let's create an Android Studio project right away. Oh, Vikash also have installed it. Good to know. So if you want to install Android, I mean, if you want to create a new project, all you need to do is you hit on this new project button. Once you hit on the new project button, you'll get multiple options. Choose phone and tablet. And there are many activity templates we have. These templates can directly be used. However, in this course, majorly, most of the time, 90% of the time, we will be picking up empty activity because we want to see everything from scratch. That is the reason we choose empty activity. Hit next, give the application a name. I will call it score tracker, and I will be creating a new folder to hold all your projects. I will call it batch 15. No spaces. Hit OK. Select batch 15, put a slash, and I want to store this data in the score tracker folder. So inside this batch 15, I will have another folder to store all the project related files. So what is the project here? Score tracker. And when you give the name of the application, when you give the name of the application, you can also have a space in between. Absolutely fine. You can have a space in between while you give the application name. But make sure there are no spaces while you give the location of your project. The location of your project is not recommended to have spaces in between. Okay. So in the score tracker, we will have all the application related source, I mean, whatever the files we have, all of them, we will have it inside this score tracker application, a score tracker folder. Okay. You can choose Java as the programming language and minimum required SDK. As of now, you select it to API 23, which will be targeting 97.2% of devices that are active on Google Play Store. Now you may ask me, what is this minimum required SDK? What is this minimum required SDK? So if you are targeting higher versions, you will only have less number of users for your application, right? Because not everyone can afford a smartphone. Am I making sense? So they may not be buying a smartphone every time there is a new release of the operating system, and every time a new version of Android operating system is released, many people will not get the update right away. That is the reason always choose the minimum required SDK to as much less as possible. Okay. Now you may again ask me, so if that is the case, why don't we choose API 14 or API 17 for Jelly Bean so that we will be targeting all the devices? If that is the case, you will be missing out on implementing more features. Okay. New version means new features. Correct? So if you want to use those features, you need to have that particular version for sure. If you go for API 17 all the way down, you will be compromising on many of the features. So minimum required SDK, to select minimum required SDK, first of all, you need to go through the user requirements, analyze the user requirements and understand what the user actually needs. User in the sense, um, user in the sense the client, okay? The client. When you're working for an industry, you will generally interact with a client to decide upon what are the elements that you have to build and what are the services that are provided by the client. So you talk to your client, understand his requirements, and only based on that, analyze it and understand which minimum required SDK should be chosen. So this minimum SDK is chosen to API 23 because I understand my client absolutely fine. So he don't finish to create this project. Simple task. Very simple task. If you understood how to create a project by by this session, please let me know in the chat. I'm actually looking at the chat and the participants list so that I can understand who is raising hands, who's actually sending me messages, and I can read them through. All right. Thank you, Hemant. Thank you, Astosh, for responding. So as soon as a project is created, the build system will actually build your project. Now this may confuse you. What is this build system? So generally for creating software, we use any one of the build systems available in the market. Okay. For web application development, some people might be using Maven build system, Maven or Ant build system, and some people might be using Gradle build system. It varies from technology to technology. In Android, what we do is we use Gradle build system because Gradle offers a lot of comfort. You need not to download the library and integrate into the project manually. Just have to write which one you want to include, and that library will automatically be fetched by Android Studio, of course, with the help of Gradle. So we use Gradle as the build system. We will allow this project to be created because we are using Gradle build system. We'll allow Gradle to build the project. Once the project is built, you will get one screen by default. So in this screen, we get to see hello world, right? And for displaying this screen, you have a Java file from where you are setting the content view to activity main, and then this screen is getting displayed. So whenever you work with a screen, you call it as an activity. So both of them, they are combinedly creating one activity. By default, as you create a project, you will get one activity by default. Hope it is easy to understand. Correct? Okay. Now let's see how to configure our physical devices so that you can run applications directly on the physical devices. We shall understand it. First of all, take a data transfer cable. Of course, you can also connect it with a normal USB cable, sorry, with Wi-Fi. However, I'm not going to tell you how to connect it through Wi-Fi. Let me tell you how to connect it with a USB cable. Okay. First of all, on your mobile, what are the settings that we need to tweak in, that we need to change in order to let our device debug the applications? I'm turning on file transfer mode. Now, if you see, okay, turn it on. Nice. Okay. So please do it along with me. Okay. Let us say this is your device. So this is my Motorola One Power dedicated to only the sessions. I don't use it personally. That's the reason you don't find a SIM card here. So I use a Oppo device for my personal use. So here the first thing is you have to head to settings. Everyone knows about it. Now jump into about phone and slowly and find out where your build number is present. So in the settings, your direct destination would be build number. If you are not sure of this, what can you do? You can you can search for it. Oh shit. We don't have search option here. Yeah. In the about phone section, you can search for it. Build number. Once you have your build number, you tap on this build number for 7 consecutive times continuously. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 5 times if you tap on it, you get you are now a developer message. Just like you got this message, no need, you are already a developer. Now you would get you are already a developer. So why do we do this? We do this because we do this because developer options will by defaultly be hidden for all the users. Developer options will be hidden by default for all the users. You're just bringing the developer options unhidden, or what do we call it? Yeah, shown. So if you now go back, if you now go back under the system, you'll find advanced options. So now our second destination is developer options. You jump into it. So they will be turned on by default as soon as you are tapping on build number for 7 times. If they are not turned on, you turn them on. Then scroll down a little bit till you find an option called USB debugging. Please make a note of it, guys. Otherwise, you will forget about it. Once or twice, if you're done, you will have it handy in fingertips. So in the USB debugging mode, you have to turn on this USB debugging mode. Then you'll get a few pop-ups. Say okay, no issues. After that, yeah, you're done. Simple. And make sure that you are connecting your USB device in file transfer mode. Keep your USB device. When you connect your USB device, make sure that you are using file transfer mode. Okay. Only then your device will be recognized by Android Studio. And you will see your device on the top of your Android Studio before this green color play button. This is also called as run button. So there are two ways to run your application. One is to go to run and hit on this run app, or you choose your favorite device, either the mobile phone that you have recently connected, and you can also select an emulator. Okay, an emulator is pretty much a weighted software, so it will eat up a lot of RAM. So I don't recommend you to use emulator. Always choose Motorola. I mean, always choose the device to run your applications. Now you can actually hit on this run button and your Gradle building will be started again. At the bottom of the screen, you can see the status. Now you can look out for the output that appears on this device. Okay, there is an error. This is a small error for me. It is not some error that you will get yourself. Let me fix it quickly, pretty much quickly. All right, let's now run the application and it will run for sure now. See, you got the output. It says hello world. The name of the application is Code Tracker. It's like this. It's running. Okay. I have a question from Ashish. How have you got this emulator which is flashing on screen? See, you need not to use this software. I repeat, you never used to use this Visor software because you need not to display the device to the users all the time. Correct? You run the applications directly on your device and just work for it in debug mode. But if you want to show your device, let us say at any point in time later, if you want to show your device to your clients or your co-developers, you can actually download Visor and install it. Okay. And as you connect your device through USB or through Wi-Fi, you get this option of opening the application, opening the device. So then you click on run button and you'll get the screen. Now there is another question from Ashish. We need to connect the phone to laptop and then go to the settings and hit build number 7 times. Not needed. You can hit on build number 7 times, then turn on developer options, then turn on USB debugging, and then connect your USB cable. But make sure when you connect your USB cable, you are turning it, you are enabling the file transfer mode. Make sure of this. Then you'll be able to connect your device. You're welcome, Ashish. All right, so I'm done for the day. I'm not going to explain the project structure. I'm not going to show you how to create an emulator. All these things we will discuss tomorrow. So tomorrow also, it is the session will start at sharp 7 o'clock. All right. There is a wrong communication happening. I observed it today. Even I got a message saying that the class is at 7:15. I think you must have got the same message. Guys, please understand that we are starting off at 7 o'clock. Please make sure that you are arriving to the session at sharp 7 o'clock. I will also be arriving at the session at sharp 7 o'clock and we shall begin discussing more concepts, right? So let us not constrain our time, okay? Based on the email that you have got says that the sessions will start at 7 and we shall start at 7. Ignore the message, please. It is not at 7:15, it is at 7. All right. Thank you so much for understanding. And thank you so much for being so nice to me all this time. Take care. Have a fantastic day ahead. Ashish says Android Studio is widely trolled for heating up, lagging, so any other option available to developer Android apps. Natively, Android Studio helps us. That's it. And Sahu asks, can I get yesterday's recording? Yes, you can, but please post this question to the admin. They will have an access to the recording sessions and they'll provide it to you. Thank you so much, guys. Have a fantastic day ahead. See you tomorrow at sharp 7 o'clock. Thanks, Ashish. You too. Thanks, Akansha.